What's up, everybody? It's J Rock right here, hitting you with another comic book review. So, if you like comic related content, you might want to think about hitting that subscribe button. That will keep you updated on all my future videos. Okay, today we're going to be reviewing something that's outside of the US. So, this book was originally written in French. So, not everything's written exactly precisely because it had to be translated to English, kind of like how manga does. So, sometimes you lose some of the stuff in the translation. I never read this before. I recently heard about it. The writer here is Alejandro Jodorowski, and the artist is Juan Gimenez. This is about some ancient warriors called the Castakans. So they're kind of like think the Spartans in 300. It's the same thing. They're kind of like knights and so forth. They have their armor. They're supposed to be like Spartans, the best of the best. And there's one called the Metabaron. The book is called the Metabarons because it's about the generations, each Metabaron through the generations. But they could always be one Metabaron, and he passes on the legacy to his son, right? So he's always supposed to be the baddest out of all the Kastakans. He's like the leader. He's the main one. Then he passes it on to his son. Then he will become the main one. Every time you're the Metabaron, for them to pass the torch, basically, so as a child, your father has to mutilate you somehow. So to show that you're tough and you could take it, he has to like they show examples of like one generation the father chops off the son's hand to show that he's tough and it's replaced with a cyborg hand. In another instance, they cut one of the children's foot off, it's replaced with a cyborg feet. Like you always have to be mutilated and have that body part replaced with a cyborg enhancement. That's the first step. Now, once you get older and you're ready to take the place of the Meta Baron, you have to kill your father so that you can be the main guy now. So that's just their tradition. They're very ancient in their ways. They're like Spartans or like knights, but they're very futuristic in their technology. So this book, the world building on this is real cool. They show how their mentality, they're still like barbarians and knights and so forth, but in the world they live in is very futuristic. So this story starts off with two androids talking to each other and one's telling the other one the ancient legendary stories of the Metabarons. So the androids kind of serve as the narrators for the story. The story starts off where they're doing the family tradition. One kid is getting his ear kind of destroyed, so it could be replaced by a cyborg part by his father. And he took it easy on him. He's explaining to him, look, I'm just destroying your ear. It could have been, your arm, your leg, could have been something worse. So he kind of took it easy on him. And he's gonna be in the future he's gonna take the mantle. And they're going to war at this time with this other more advanced group. Okay, so they gotta go to war against this much larger army because earlier on they discovered this thing called epiphyte and they kept it a secret. There's like a big secret for them. This is something that defies gravity. So you see here on this page where there's this big block and a man is crushed under it, and with this thing called epiphyte, they can lift that whole big block. It's like the size of a building and drag that guy out. So the rest of the galaxy wants some of that technology. So they're going to war with them. And much like in 300, they're outnumbered 150 against like 1,000. So they're going to lose this battle, but they're real warriors. They don't want to just give up and kneel down to somebody else. So they're not going out without a fight. And these other people have, guns and stuff like that. These guys are still with shields and swords. They're very primitive by comparison to the other much larger, much more advanced army. So they're in a no-win situation basically. Towards the end of the battle, you see here that the only survivor is the most badass guy there was the Meta Baron. He's still alive. They say they admire his courage and so forth, so they let him live. His legs though here are completely crushed and demolished. You see somebody carrying him off. What really stood out to me right here was Juan Gimenez's art. I thought this art was real good, and the coloring is kind of like a watercolor type of style, which I was digging. And you gotta remember, this was back in 1992. So when I looked at this art, I was like, it's a lot different than what was going on in all the mainstream comics at that time. And here in America with your X-Men, your Marvel DC stuff, this was a lot different. It stood out to me definitely. And the writing was cool, but I think really the art was really what stood out to me and grabbed my attention. The story itself is a lot like just like your 300, your Spartan stories. It's a lot like that. Just the only big difference is in the setting and the time where it's taking place is a lot different. The world building here, I'm really enjoying to kind of you get to find out a lot more about this this world. It's a lot different from ours, yet it's very similar from our past. So that I thought that was very creative as well. You get to touch on the characters here. This current Metabaron, his name is OTHON. So it shows here where they're dressed kind of like samurais and they're training, they're fighting, and it shows here when the old Metabaron sacrifices himself and he's dying here and passing the torch on to him. So then we see him as the Metabaron, and you kind of see how he was in the beginning preparing his son for the future when he's gonna give himself to him as well. So you see how this passes on from generation to generation. So you can tell already right here, there isn't gonna be one main character. It's gonna be like the main character is gonna constantly change from generation to generation. Especially this type of life they live. No guy lives for a long time, like in this lifestyle. You don't live to get old. You don't live to be old, basically. Okay, my bad. So earlier when I said he had got his legs crushed, Odin, it wasn't Odin. It was the son had got his legs jacked up during that war with the other army. So the son has gotten his legs all beat up. He can't hardly walk anymore. So he's kind of down and out. He's kind of gave up on life. He's all about being a warrior. Now he can't even walk. So needless to say, he's depressed. Now for his I forgot how old he's turning here, but it's his birthday. The dad brings him a horse. In this world, horses are very rare. They're ancient. There's not too many of them alive. So he's super stoked he got a horse. He's like, this horse can now be my legs. So he's running around in the horse hunting and fighting with swords and learning to be a warrior again while riding a horse. So they say, wow, he's found a new look on life. Like this horse, this present really revitalized them. So the son's all excited about that. These space pirates find out about the horse, so they go to steal it. So when they go to steal it, the son finds out they're stealing the horse, and he goes to look for them, right? So this here's where the story got kind of interesting to me, because he goes to look for to catch the pirates. The dad finds out. They tell the dad, your son went to go look for these pirates. He says he has two bad legs. He will never catch up to them, and even if he did, he will lose that fight. He goes, I can't have my son, who will be a future meta baron once I die, have that shame that he lost a fight. So he's like, I gotta go over there and win this fight for him before he has to go and stop this from happening. He goes, catches like pirates that stole the horse. He single-handedly just beating on them, killing them, like in really wicked ways. Like it's gruesome here, guys. It's not for the faint of heart. This art here is just killing them in really nasty ways. It's foggy, it's dark, things are moving fast. So he's just seeing shadows and attacking. One of these shadows happens to be the sun. So he kills his own son because he thought it was another pirate coming at him. And it's the sun, and you're like, holy shit, he just fucking killed his own son. So shit gets real right here. You're like, oh my god. Oh my god, what did he just do? So even him, you see in the art, his face, he's like, what did I just do? While he hesitates, realizing what he did, one of the pirates, bam, attacks him. And in attacking him, blows off his dick and his hip. Because he shoots him and he no longer has a pelvis or a hip bone, right? And luckily he falls on the horse and the horse takes him back to safety. So this was a crazy, crazy things went down this night going to save his horse. He saved the horse, but in doing so, the horse kind of saved him. So that was kind of crazy. The karma there. While all this happened, his son is now dead. So who's he gonna pass the legacy on to? And how is he now that his dick got shot off? Once this happens, you see him recovering, and they give him cybernetic parts on his pelvis and his hip, and he's training to be a warrior with this new handicap he has. Damn, so I'll definitely be picking up volume 2 of this because I'll be reading it for sure and dropping a review because this left in such a cliffhanger. I kind of gotta know what happens next. How does he bounce back from this, and how is he gonna reproduce? That's another thing I'm real interested in. So yeah, the story got really good towards the end, and also the artwork, like I said, it was good all the way through. It's very heavy metal, very like I think Black Sabbath music when I see this art, especially the fight scenes and the armor they wear. It's crazy. The world building on this is awesome. Like I said as well, I want to know more about this world they're living in, these times they're living in, and the writing was also it was pretty good. If you like stuff with knights and fantasy, you're gonna get some of that here. It's just the setting is different. So you might you like Conan and stuff like that. You're probably gonna enjoy this. It just has a twist of like a heavy metal feel to it as well. All right, man. I just like to thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to check this video out and read along with me. And hopefully you'll join me for the volume 2 so we could finish this journey. I believe it's 8 volumes. Each one is pretty short, about 80 pages. So I should get through them pretty quick. Other than that, I'll just check you guys out next time.